North Korea. Just mentioning the name conjures images of stern-faced dictators, massive military parades, and the ever-present threat of nuclear war. It's a country shrouded in secrecy, a place seemingly frozen in time, a stark contrast to our interconnected world. But to dismiss North Korea as simply bizarre or backwards would be a mistake. Understanding this enigmatic nation, its motivations and its methods, is crucial for global security and stability. Why? Because North Korea is not just different, it's deliberately different. It actively rejects the norms and conventions of the international system, choosing instead to chart its own course. This go-it-alone attitude, coupled with its nuclear ambitions and unpredictable behavior, makes North Korea a wild card on the world stage. The stakes are high. North Korea's actions, whether it's test-firing missiles or engaging in diplomatic talks, have ripple effects across the globe. Its continued pursuit of nuclear weapons threatens regional and international security. Its human rights record draws condemnation from the international community. So to understand the world today, we must understand North Korea. We must look beyond the stereotypes and the sensational headlines to grasp the complexities of this isolated nation. North Korea likes to portray itself as self-reliant, completely independent, an island unto itself. But even islands need bridges sometimes, especially when you're trying to navigate the choppy waters of international politics. And North Korea, despite its isolationist rhetoric, knows how to play the diplomatic game. Take its relationship with Russia, for example. This isn't some newfangled friendship, it's a bond forged during the Cold War, back when the Soviet Union propped up the North Korean regime. And with Russia feeling increasingly isolated on the world stage thanks to, the whole invading Ukraine thing, it seems those old Cold War ties are being dusted off and retied. Then there's China, North Korea's biggest trading partner, and some might say its only real friend. China provides an economic lifeline to the North, a buffer against Western pressure, and a shield at the United Nations. But it's not all smooth sailing. China doesn't love North Korea's nuclear antics, and there's always the risk that Kim Jong-un might push things too far, even for his patient neighbors to the north. And what about the West? Well, let's just say, relations are a tad frostier than a penguin's backside in a blizzard. Years of nuclear standoffs, sanctions, and fiery rhetoric haven't exactly fostered trust and understanding. So, North Korea's diplomatic dance is a delicate one. It needs its allies to survive, but those alliances come with their own set of challenges and limitations. And as for its adversaries, well, let's just say the feeling is mutual. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or rather the heavily armed soldier goose-stepping through the square. North Korea's military is the stuff of legend, or at least the stuff of highly produced propaganda films. We've all seen the images, massive parades showcasing seemingly endless rows of tanks, artillery pieces, and goose-stepping soldiers, a sea of uniformed humanity moving in perfect unison, a display of discipline and might designed to awe and intimidate. But behind the spectacle lies a military doctrine as unique and as potentially dangerous as the country itself. You see, North Korea can't compete with the technological superiority of the United States or its allies. So it's developed a different approach, one that emphasizes asymmetry, surprise, and a willingness to accept high casualties to achieve its objectives. Think human wave attacks, a tactic straight out of the history books, where sheer numbers are used to overwhelm the enemy. Think a focus on infiltration and sabotage, on disrupting enemy lines and sowing chaos behind the front lines. And then there's the wild card North Korea's cyber warfare capabilities. They've been known to flex their digital muscles, hacking into financial institutions, government networks, even Sony Pictures. Apparently they really didn't like that Seth Rogen movie. North Korea's military may not be the most advanced, but it's certainly one of the most unpredictable. And in the world of warfare, sometimes unpredictability is the most dangerous weapon of all. While the rest of the world embraces globalization, open markets, and the free flow of information, North Korea clings tightly to its juche philosophy of self-reliance. In theory, it sounds noble, a country standing on its own 2 feet, free from outside influence. In practice, it's led to economic isolation, stagnation, and widespread hardship for its people. Imagine an economy where the government controls everything: what's produced, how it's produced, and who gets to enjoy the limited fruits of their labor. That's North Korea in a nutshell. The result? A country with a GDP smaller than that of a mid-sized city in most developed nations. a country where basic necessities are scarce, where food insecurity is a persistent problem, and where the average citizen struggles to make ends meet. Sure, China provides some economic assistance, and there's a bit of illicit trade happening under the table, but it's not enough to make up for the crippling effects of decades of mismanagement, corruption, and sanctions. The truth is, North Korea's economic experiment has failed. But whether the regime is willing or able to change course remains to be seen. Section 5. The price of defiance, hunger and hardship in the shadow of the nuclear sword. The world watches with bated breath as North Korea brandishes its nuclear arsenal, a defiant fist raised against the international community. But while the regime boasts of its military might, a different, more tragic story unfolds within its borders. Behind the facade of military parades and fiery rhetoric lies a harsh reality, a nation grappling with chronic food shortages, widespread malnutrition, and a healthcare system on the brink. Years of economic mismanagement compounded by international sanctions and a relentless focus on military spending have taken a devastating toll on the North Korean people. Imagine a country where access to basic necessities like food, clean water, and medicine is a daily struggle, where children bear the brunt of malnutrition, their growth stunted, their futures uncertain, where hospitals lack essential supplies and healthcare workers struggle to provide even the most basic care. This is the human cost of North Korea's defiance, the price paid by ordinary citizens for the ambitions of their leaders. Section 6. One Peninsula, Two Worlds. The stark contrast with South Korea. To truly grasp the stark reality of North Korea's isolation, one need only look south, across the demilitarized zone, to its neighbor and kin, South Korea. Once united by history, language, and culture, the two Koreas now stand as a testament to the diverging paths chosen. While the North remains mired in poverty and repression, the South has emerged as a global economic powerhouse, a beacon of democracy and technological innovation. Imagine stepping across a border and entering a world of vibrant cities, bustling with commerce and creativity, where sleek skyscrapers pierce the sky, a testament to economic dynamism and technological prowess. Where people enjoy the freedoms of expression, assembly, and religion, their voices heard in a democratic system. This is the reality of South Korea today, a stark contrast to the bleak existence endured by its northern brethren. The comparison is not meant to shame or belittle, but to highlight the tragic consequences of North Korea's choices. It serves as a poignant reminder of the potential that remains unrealized, the prosperity and freedom that remain elusive to millions trapped within its borders. Section 7. The Dragon and the Hermit. China's complex relationship with its ally. China and North Korea, a relationship often described as lips and teeth, so closely intertwined are their destinies. But like any family, their bond is complex, fraught with tension, mistrust, and a healthy dose of realpolitik. China, the elder sibling, views North Korea with a mix of exasperation and obligation. It provides economic and diplomatic support, a buffer against Western pressure. But it also fears the unpredictable nature of its smaller neighbor, the potential for chaos and conflict on its doorstep. North Korea, the rebellious teenager, relies on China's support, but chafes under its influence. It wants to be seen as an equal, not a client state. It craves recognition, respect, and security on its own terms. This delicate dance plays out on the world stage, a constant source of speculation and concern. Will China rein in its wayward ally? Will North Korea overplay its hand, pushing even its closest friend too far? The answers to these questions have profound implications for regional stability and global security. Section 8. A Wary World Watches. North Korea's impact on global security. North Korea, despite its isolation, casts a long shadow over international affairs. Its nuclear ambitions, unpredictable behavior, and blatant disregard for international norms keep diplomats up at night and dominate headlines worldwide. The world watches with a mixture of apprehension and frustration as North Korea continues to develop its nuclear arsenal, test-firing missiles in defiance of United Nations sanctions and international condemnation. These actions are not merely symbolic gestures of defiance, they pose a real and present danger to regional and global security. A miscalculation, an accident, or a deliberate provocation could have catastrophic consequences. Beyond the immediate threat of nuclear conflict, North Korea's actions undermine the global non-proliferation regime, encouraging other rogue states to pursue their own nuclear ambitions. The international community faces a difficult challenge. how to contain the threat posed by North Korea without resorting to military action, which could have devastating consequences. Section 9. An uncertain future, challenges and possibilities for the Hermit Kingdom. As the world grapples with the challenges posed by North Korea, a glimmer of hope remains. The path ahead is fraught with uncertainty, but the possibility of change, however remote, cannot be discounted. The Kim regime faces mounting internal and external pressures. The economy, hamstrung by sanctions and mismanagement, teeters on the brink. The people, long subjected to repression and hardship, yearn for a better life. The international community, though divided on how to best approach the North Korea problem, shares a common goal: a denuclearized Korean peninsula and a peaceful resolution to the standoff. The road to peace and reconciliation will be long and arduous, requiring patience, diplomacy, and perhaps a willingness to rethink long-held assumptions. But the stakes are too high, the potential human cost too great to give up on the pursuit of a more peaceful future.